Hello, welcome everybody. I hope everybody can hear me clearly. My name's Kirsty McDermott. I'm a Research Support Advisor from the library. I'm here today with my colleague Barbara Lancho-Barantes, who is the head of the Raising Research Visibility Service. We're here to co-deliver Where to Publish for Staff. So the learning outcomes of today's session. By the end of the session, you'll be able to understand the importance of finding and evaluating appropriate places to publish, evaluate journals, books, or monographs for their suitability for your research, learn about the importance of open access, how to ensure your choices for publications are compliant with your funder, and how to watch out for predatory publishers and to ensure that you select credible publication venues for your research, as well as general where to publish tips. So publishing in open access journals really helps to maximise accessibility to your work. It also helps to obviously raise your own research visibility, and it helps research in general because people are able to access your research and build on research. Major funders now require research outputs from funded research to be made open access. So you can check your funder's open access conditions using a tool called Sherpa Juliet, and you could also check Sherpa Fact to see if your journal is compliant with your funder. So I'm just going to show you Sherpa Fact now, so just bear with me please while I share my screen. Just takes a few moments. Okay, so this is Sherpa Fact. So say I was funded by, let's see, if I was funded by the Wellcome Trust, I would select the Wellcome Trust from the list of funders. And let's see, my journal was Ames Bioengineering. I would put that in the journal field and then just go to check compliance. And the tool immediately shows me that I cannot comply by publishing in this journal. So this journal does not comply with my funder's open access policy. So I need to go back to the drawing board and find a journal that actually complies with my open access policy of my funder. So I'm just going to try a different journal now. So I've gone back to the drawing board, I found another appropriate journal, Advances in Bioscience and Bioengineering. Let's go back to check compliance. And Sherpa Fact shows me that I can comply by archiving in this journal. So I can comply by self-archiving. So I can make the published version of the article immediately available in PubMed Central or Europe PubMed Central under a CC BY license, or I can also make the accepted version of the article immediately available in PubMed Central or Europe PubMed Central under a CC BY license. So there's further information as well. If I wanted to look at my open access policy of my funder, I can go to the policy in Sherpa Juliet there. So it's a really quick way to check that your journal's compliant with your funder. I'm just going to go back into the slides now. So just to flag, there's a new open access initiative that's coming into force in January 2021. So Plan S is an initiative to speed up open access where funded research is available immediately. The key principles are that publications must be published under an open license, so a CC BY license. There must be full and immediate open access at the point of publications. So Plan S funders won't pay article processing charges for hybrid journals. And those are journals that charge both for subscription fees and publication costs. So they won't pay for hybrid journals unless they are part of a transformative agreement. So a transformative agreement is an agreement with the publisher which basically commits the journal to becoming fully open access by 2024. So green open access is also compliant at the point of publication, but it must be zero embargo. So you can do green open access by two different routes. You can either choose a journal that already has a zero embargo policy. What's happening now is that Plan-S funders are now changing their grant conditions so that researchers now have the rights to publish their author accepted manuscript at the point of publication, so they can release that legally at the point of publication, no matter what the journal policy says. So welcome to us in the UKRI. New open access policies will come into force January 2021. This is just to really let you know that this is taking place. There's also a dedicated Plan-S webinar that goes into much more detail about how to comply with Plan-S and what you need to do if you are funded by a Plan-S funder come January 2021. So there's a webinar. Can you please raise your voice a bit? I can, sorry. I will speak up. So yeah, if you are funded by a Plan-S funder, please do come to the Plan-S webinar as well for further information. There's also Plan-S web pages as well on the library website, which goes into a lot of detail about Plan-S. And also, if you have any questions, please do contact us. So how do you find journals in which to publish? So I'm just going to ask this question now to everybody, and I'd love to hear your responses in the chat. So how do you normally find journals in which to publish? Okay, Sally says looking at papers that I've cited. That's an excellent way. I use those which feature in my references. Great. So a lot of a couple of you are actually like going through your citations in the work that you've already used. That's great. Rank by date and impact factors. Okay. My supervisors. Yeah. My head of department mentors. Okay. Great. So there's a bit of a mixture there of asking heads of departments and supervisors, your peers, where they publish, where's the best place to publish, and also some people who are looking at papers that you've already cited as well. So there's a bit of a mixture there. Okay, thank you. So things to think about when you're publishing. So who is your intended audience and what are the best ways to reach them? So it might not be a traditional journal, might not always be the best place to publish if maybe aiming to influence policy or reach specialists outside of so you might also want to engage the public as well. So there's lots of different publication routes. So sometimes it's not always the traditional sort of journal route, and you have to kind of think a bit about what you're trying to achieve. Do you always publish in the same journal or one which is consistent with your peers? So yeah, that was interesting with the responses just now. A lot of you are asking, obviously quite rightly, how your peers publish, and I think that's really important and really invaluable, because obviously they have a lot of experience often with journals and where's the best place to publish, but also I think it's useful as well to check the publication is right for your work, because what could be right for somebody's work could perhaps not the quite right venue for you. So it's always good just to check suggestions that you get from your peers, your supervisors, use tools that we'll show you today. So finding appropriate places to publish. So it's useful at the start of your research to run a literature search and just to get all the key evidence and to see what's being published. Where a couple of you were saying that you look at papers that you already cited, so that's a great way. You know, you're going through your references, you're looking at the key research area. Obviously, also check the aims and scope of the journal and the editorial criteria and processes and the acceptance rate from submission to publication. All these things kind of make an impact on your day-to-day work, and you know, so it's really important just to check that it fits with your criteria. You might want to list several journals to evaluate and narrow it down to at least 3 or so to submit to, should you need to look beyond your first choice. So it's really good just to get a list of all the appropriate ones and then go through it systematically and get sort of like your top 3 or more if you choose, just in case you need to look beyond your first choice. So I'm going to hand over to my colleague now, who's going to do the next part.
Thank you, Kathleen, and hello, everybody. As my colleague said, I am Barbara. I am the bibliometrician at the university. So I am going to introduce how you can evaluate journals using the tools. But first of all, I would like that you answer in a couple of minutes this question. How to evaluate journals, how you evaluate journal. It's a bit related with the first question, and you answer about using metrics, but how you evaluate journals in which to publish. When you have a list of journals, how you decide this journal is the most suitable place for me, or have a think about this question. Just in a couple of minutes, you can answer. How do you decide? You read the topic, you read the scope, or the impact factor? Yes. Similar papers that have been published before. Yes, I am going to introduce to the tool impact factor, the scope, the quality of work. Yes, cost, open access. Good. We are going to this. Okay, there are the main journal classification at the moment are Scopus. Scopus source. Scopus classified its journals into different categories. Scopus has around 22,000 of journal index at the moment. Is the Scopus is a multidisciplinary database. Web of Science is the other database that indexed journals. Is a different Scopus is a different company, and Web of Science belong to Clarivate Analytics, and both are different coverage of journals. The journal citation report is a tool belong to Web of Science to rank journal and apply metrics, but I'm going to show you how use both. And Imago Journal and Country Rank is a web page, open access, is available for everybody. It's online. They provide the journal from Scopus using the SJR, is the metric, the journal metric for them. But well, I am going to show you both because practicing is, I think, is the best way that you can understand all the journal and make decision. Someone hand her hand up. So if you don't mind to write the question in the chat box, and I can. So understanding some of the journal metrics, just briefly. There are different journal metrics. CiteScore is the journal metrics for Scopus. They use a publication window of 4 years and a citation window of 4 years. So citation made to in 4 years to publication in the previous 4 years. So it's a window of 4 years, and CiteScore is a CiteScore percentiles rank the journal into the area. The journal impact factor, I think everybody knows what is the journal impact factor. It's the citation in a year to articles published in the 2 previous years. Some journals belong to areas and need more time to receive citation, and for that they create the 5-year impact factor, for example, for social science, to give more time to receive citation. And article influence and aging factor is a journal metrics to give more weight or important to citation that come from high rank journals. Is to put more weight to citation. SNP is a measure that citation is to weight the citation, to standardize the citation per different areas. Because in medicine, receive more citation than, for example, in social science and art and humanities. And SJR is the another journal metric that weigh the citation. If a citation came from Nature, weight more than if the citation come from a journal in a lower position in rankings. So it's a measure to the citation. And the journal are classified into different quartiles of impact according to the journal impact factor, SJR, according to the different journal metrics. But I think this is just very brief, because I think the best way to know, understand journal metrics is see them on practice. So I'm going to show you how use journal citation reports. I don't know if you are familiar with that. You can answer me in the chat box if you are familiar with journal citation reports. So the way to access to journal citation report is use the library website. I'm doing that to show you how access to journal citation report. But I am the click here. So this is the main page of journal citation report. You can browse by journal, by specific journal if you are interested, or browse by a category. I'm going to use category. And as I said before, Web of Science has its own journals, and they classify the journal into different areas, around, I think, 300 areas. So, for example, in economics, there are a number of 373 journals. In mathematics, in the area of mathematics, there are 325 journals, and the journal can classify into different, depending of the scope of the journal, can classify into different areas. So a journal from economics could be in economics and could be also in mathematics. And the impact factor is the same, but depends of the number of the journal in the different areas, could be in the first quartile of impact or in the second. For example, if in economy there are more journals with a higher impact factor, probably is hard that a journal can up because there are more competitors to in the but if, for example, in mathematics there are less journal, probably the journal can be in the first quartile of impact. So there are two editions in Journal Citation Report, the science one and the science. So they classify the journals into areas, and also these areas are classified into two main editions, social science and science. But if you, now I click in both, but if you are a researcher of social science, you can click this and just click social science and submit. And the tool will show you all the categories belong to social science. So for example, I'm going to click on economics. This is the area. In 2019, in the year, this area has a number of 373 journals. If you click here, this is the journal belong to economies, and they are ordered by impact factor. So quarterly journal economy has the highest impact factor in this journal, in this area. And you can customize the indicator if you would like to add, for example, immediacy index, because immediacy index is quite good for medicine. For example, is the citation that received in a year. For example, if you publish a paper in 2019, how many citations were received in a year? So it's the immediacy index instead of 2 years that the impact factor has. It is good for areas that the citation is more frequent, more often. Or normalize again factor. Well, I'm going to decide this one. And the total citation received. And you can click, for example, in open access journal, if you are interested just in the open access journal from this list. Or you can click from different quartile of impact, the first one, second. For publisher, if you click, for example, Springer here, they show you probably the most feature I select, probably the less option they give me. So if I submit, probably there are no any, because I click a lot of things. If I delete this and submit again. Okay. In economies, these are the journals in the first quartile of impact in the second. And if I click, for example, open access, okay, a number of 10 journals in the area of economics are open access, and in the first and the second quartile of impact. And well, you can compare the journals. For example, if you would like to compare this, and this, you can compare them by trends. For example, the last one, submit, and you can compare by impact factor, the 3 of them, or by a different of total sites. So you can play with the tool. or as I said before, if you are interested just to browse a journal, you can click here, the journal, and for example, Cytometry is a journal. So again, a journal can classify into different areas and also classify into different editions. So Cytometry could be in the edition of social science, depending on the category that are indexed, and could be indexed in science, in the science edition of Journal Citation Report. And depending on the areas that the journal are, could be in a quartile, in the different quartile of impact, but the impact factor is the same. The impact factor is doesn't modify well during the in the different areas. Could modify during the years because it's not a established number. For example, in 2019 would that, less in 2018, 2000. So, well, this is Journal Citation Report. I don't know if you are familiar with that, but I'm going to jump to another tool. It's a Scopus. So this is the main web page in Scopus as a database, but we don't need this part at the moment. We need the part of sources. So if you click on sources, there are a total of 41,000 approximately sources in Scopus at the moment, but not just journals. There are book series, conference proceedings, and trade publication. So again, the sources in Scopus are classified into approximately 300 subject categories, and these subject categories are classified again into 27 subject areas. So you can see the subject area here. Agricultural and biological sciences is one of the subject of the 27 subject area. The second one is arts and humanities, biochemistry, business, chemical engineering. So behind agricultural, there are subject categories, and behind these subject categories are the journals. So one journal could be in, depending of the scope, could be in one subject category and could be in another, for example, in social science, depending of the scope. But for example, imagine that you are a researcher from biochemistry. Okay, I click in biochemistry and apply. And the database will show me the number of sources that belong to the subject area biochemistry, the general one, the subject, the main subject area. So 3,000 results, and they are ordered by site score. As I explained before, the site score is the metric, is the impact factor of Scopus from 4 years instead of 2. They explain here how it's calculated. And you can select, for example, display only open access journals if you are interested in the database show you the just open access journal, or the journal in the first quartile of impact, or show only titles in the top 10 percentile. So this is the highest, the journal with the highest scores. So, but I'm interested in the first quartile, and I am interested just in journals. If I click here, the database will show me the sources in biochemistry, open access, in first quartile of impact, and there are 137 results. So I can click in all, and they are again, they are ordered by site score. This is the impact factor of Scopus. but you can see more metrics, more indicator here, the SJR that weight the citation, as I explained before. It's the different because CiteScore don't weight citation. CiteScore is number of citation per documents. But the say SJR weight the citation depending of they come from. And the highest percentile, this is an interesting feature, because if you order by the highest percentiles, biological sex differences is an open access source. It has not the highest CiteScore, but in gender studies has the highest percentile. So it has the third position from of 144 journals in the gender studies area. So this is one of the best in this gender studies, because it's the third position of 100. Even if it has not the highest CiteScore. So, well, the metrics are there, impact factor are there, CiteScore are there, but you need to explore other metrics, not just go to impact factor. Explore citation received, explore what is the position of the journal, explore if the journal are open access, how many citations are received. You need to evaluate the journal with different metrics, and also have a look in the web page of the journal if the editorial board are how the peer review is, the process of peer review. So but you can add here, if you are, for example, if you are a researcher from biochemistry, but not just biochemistry, you are a researcher from biochemistry and also social science. But you go to social science here, for example, social science. Okay, here. Gender, for example, or gender. You can click, or for example, library and information science is our area. So if you click on this, because you are interested in biochemistry in general, in gender studies, and you can click all the areas that you consider, and the database will show you the results ordered by this, but missed. So now you can find not just sources by biochemistry, you can find gender studies, and you can download this and explore yourself in your home. And there is another feature I am going to explain you very briefly, because I don't want to give a lot of information, because I know that it's lots. I am very happy if you are interested to know more about this. I am very happy to support after this, because this is just an introduction of the tool to show you that the tool are available, and the university are paying out the license, the expensive license of this, and it's available for the staff, for PGRs, for everybody, not just for library staff. So this is a feature in Scopus. If you click here, compare sources, if you have your own list of journals, you can compare them here. For example, source, you can click Cytometrics, for example. Here, click Journal of Informatics, another journal, for example. There, and Journal of Information Science, another, this one, for example. So you can compare the three of them using the different metrics. If you would like to compare them or in table to see the CiteScore per, if they is growing or is decreasing, to make decisions where to publish. And the other, well, I think with Scopus we can finish now. If you would like more support, I am very happy to support after this webinar, because this is a very brief approach to that. So the next one is the website Stimago Journal and Country Rank. They use the journal from Scopus, but they, instead of use site score, because site score belongs to the database, it's the star metric of the Scopus, they use SJR. It's the other journal metric that I explained before, weight the citation. So, but they classify the same journal into different areas, the same areas and categories in Scopus, the same journals. For example, computer science. I am interested to, this is available online. You don't need to access through the university. And I am a researcher from computer science and also artificial intelligence. So my area is artificial intelligence behind computer science. So this is the journal ordered by SJR. And the green one is the journal in the first quartile of impact. So 600 journal belong to artificial intelligence in computer science. They are ordered, and the second is the second quartile. Is first one is swarm intelligence. This is the highest SJR in the second quartile of impact. So if you click just because you are interested just in open access journal, you can click, or just in only Web of Science journals. For example, if you would like, because both Web of Science and Scopus have different coverage of journals, but imagine that you would like to know which journal are in Scopus and also in Web of Science. What is the journal that belong to both databases? Because if the journal are in both databases, you have more visibility because belong to the both. So if you are interested to publish in a journal that are in both databases, you can click here only. So these journals are open access and belong to Web of Science and also belong to Scopus. And Journal of Machine Learning Research is a journal in the first quartile of impact, and with this. And also you can download the data, the same that, and you can perform here the indicators. So I'm going to come back to my screen. So I created this scheme that you can use to replicate the search in a journal citation report in Scopus and SJR. If you would like to explore these data sources after the webinar, you can follow this guide.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. So we're just going to go on to monographs and books now. So has anyone ever published a book or a monograph? And I know this is more sort of, you know, for the social sciences, arts and humanities, it's more typical. But I was just wondering if anyone's ever published a book or a monograph. I'd love to hear. Oh, great. Okay, Claire has. Brilliant. Okay. Okay, this is just to really, sorry, I'll try and speak up. I think there's something wrong with my speakers. I hope you can all hear me. Can you hear me now? Right, so
yes, testing.
great, okay. So this is just a flag really that there's a real sort of growth in open access books and monographs now, and there's a lot of university presses, such as the White Rose University Press, which is coordinated between Leeds, Sheffield, and York. There's also a lot of really credible society and commercial publishers for books and monographs. And a recent Universities UK report on open access monographs suggests that making scholarly books open access has no impact on the sale of print versions. So that's really reassuring. There's a really good open access. So the White Rose the White Rose University Press, that is a publishing academic-led publishing press. So it's coordinated between Leeds University, Sheffield University, and York University. So they publish open access books and monographs, and they also have open access journals as well. So yeah, go to so it's a bit like, you know, Cambridge University Press, for example. So it's an academic-led publisher. Sorry, as I was just going back to the Open Access Books Network, it's initiated by Spark Europe, Open, and Operas and Scholar-led. It's a really good port of call. Lots of different discussions on open access book and monograph publishing. And also links to events. So if you are interested, that's quite a good forum to go on to. So there's also quite a lot of research funders and research organisations providing costs to cover book publication charges as well. So I'll just share my screen to show you that link. So this is called Radical Open Access, and this is a academic-led, not-for-profit resource. So there's a lot of funding opportunities on here for open access books. So you can see regional and national funding opportunities on there if you are interested in publishing your monograph or book open access. Just going to go back into my slides. Okay, so I'm just going to hand back over to my colleague about preprints now.
Okay, preprint. A preprint is a full draft. Probably you already know it's a full draft of a research paper that is shared before it has been reviewed. The biggest benefits fall into three areas mainly. Credit, you can receive credit for your research. Feedback from your colleagues. If you upload your preprint online, you can receive, what is that noise? You can receive feedback from your colleagues, and also visibility and citations. Your preprint can serve to bring new readers to your published paper, both, because if you upload your preprint is linked with your final paper, and you receive citation, you receive attention from both sides. So posting a preprint led to a significant increase in attention scores and citation for the final published paper. So because the most places you can discover by your peers and the public, the more attention your research is likely to get. So you can share preprints on serve like archive, your archive, or check your department approach, or in repositories. Funders like Wellcome Trust allow researchers to cite their preprints in grant application. So I'm going to share my screen to show how you can check SERPA Romeo in order that if you are worry about to publish in a, for example, if you have a preprint and you would like to publish in a journal that you would like to publish, but you already know if you can use your preprint or not, or you are not sure. So I'm going to show you how to use Serpa Romeo. So this is Serpa Romeo. For example, if you are interested to publish in Scientometry is my example because it's one of my, but if you have other journal, you can use, this is the main page of Serpa Romeo. You can click here, and this is the information of the journal. So this is the publisher policy. So you can submit the version. So this is the condition. So doesn't say anything about preprints, preprint repository. But for example, if you, for example, +1, +1. So submitted version, no embargo, preprint repository. So you can, so I think when you try to submit a paper in +1, they ask you to the possibility to upload your preprint in bioarchive. So it's a very good way that when you are waiting for the peer review process, you can upload your research. It's a way to gain attention and no for wait. And if you would like to, this is a couple of example of journal, but if you would like to know Springer, for example, a publisher, you can explore the journal belong to Springer. Example, this one, and you can explore the different journals and the different policies using Serpa Romeo. So I come back again to my screen. So now, predatory publishers. Companies pretending to be peer review journal, you need to think about this, because sometimes they send a lot of emails saying, oh, you can publish in this journal very quick if you pay 5,000 or 500 or not 5,000, 500 of pounds, you can publish your paper in 5 days. So be careful with that, because probably could be predatory. Predatory is not clear of peer review, and they make a business with the publication. No clear peer review, no clear editorial board. You don't know who are, and they are not indexed in any database or. So the way to know is just use. We found a very interesting. I'm going to show very interesting web page called Think, Check, and Submit. Going, oh no, no. So this one. So if you would like to check the journal, think, are you submitting your research in a trusted journal? More research. You can. This is a checklist of things that think about the journal. So more research is being published worldwide. New journal and launch is with. Check. Do your colleagues know the journal? Can you easily identify are articles indexed in the service that you use? Do you recognize the editorial board? Is the publisher a member of recognized industry initiative? This webpage is an international initiative to help researchers avoid predatory publishing. So, because fraudulent open access publishing is one of the most serious threats to scientific community at the moment. So, if you answer yes to most of all the questions above, probably you can submit the paper to the journal if you trust him. If you are interested to publishing a book or book chapter, it's the same, not just journal. It's the same thing. First thing, then check. It's everything as if most of your answer are yes. Complete the checklist, submit your manuscript. Only if you are happy, you can answer yes to most of all the questions. So this is a very good web page to think about it. So now I'm back again to my slide. I think it's the last one. So now, well, this is we finished our first where to publish webinar. I hope you found this interesting. If you would like more support about raising research visibility, we are offering a session about raising research visibility, offering session about notes, offering session about Plan S, as my colleague said before, research data management, open access, literature searching. So all the services belong to the research support team. So have a look to the web page in the library. If you would like more support, and get in touch with us using the email, or if you would like to more specific support.
Hi everybody. Sorry, I just realised because I lost my slide before, I didn't show you the directory of open access books demo. So I'm just going to do that quickly now. So I'm just going to go back to my slides. Apologies for jumping about a bit, but I lost my slide before. So I'm just going to go back to here. So back to publishing monographs and books. So a great way to find monograph and book publishers is using the directory of open access books. So I'm just going to show you that resource now. Okay, so this is the directory of open access books. So basically, it's a big repository of all different publishers and subjects, books, monographs, around the world. So you can go to browse and search by subject or by publisher. So I'm going to search by subject, and say I wanted to publish in philosophy and religion. That's sort of my general area. I can look at, so say I wanted to publish in religion, I can go to religion and I can see all the open access books and monographs in this area. So I can check out sort of the popular publishers and maybe find appropriate places where I want to submit my work to. So it's just a really good resource. It's a sister service of the directory of open access journals that you may have heard of, which is also great to check, you know, for to sort of screen against predatory publishers, because if it's indexed in the directory of open access journals, it's supposed to be a credible open access journal, but it's also worth checking as well using Sherpa that it's indexed in there, and check the journal policy and everything as well. So sorry for jumping about a bit. I just wanted to show you that. I'm just going to go back into my files. Don't think there was any more of the talk left, so but I'll just go back to this slide here. So yeah, if you do have any, I do apologise for my sound today as well. I know some of you have had a bit difficulty hearing me. I don't know what's going on with my computer. I do apologise. So if you have any questions from today's session at all, please do ask us if you want to ask us any questions now, or if you want to contact us in the future, please do get in contact. Okay, Gareth, so the video should be sent out to you. I need to work out how to download that and get that sent out. So I'll try and do that and get that sent out to you via email. Okay. So if there's any questions about today, please do let us know. Otherwise, thank you very much for coming, and have a really good.
I think Amal has a question about what is permitted embargo.
Okay, thank you for spotting that one. So an embargo is so basically that's where a publisher will enforce a period of time to release an article. So sometimes, like a journal won't release, won't make an article open access for a period of time. So you can't release your author accepted manuscript for say like 6 months or something. So a permitted embargo will be shown in the journal's policy, which you can find on Sherpa Romeo. So you can see how long an embargo is. So you need to make sure that, because some open access funders basically, especially like with Planis, that they're wanting zero embargo for open access. So you need to check that with the journal that you're publishing in, just to check that you're complying.
And another question is, what is White Rose relation to PubMed, and does White Rose have journals? It's from Amal again.
I think I might have answered that one before. Yeah,
Okay.
White Rose. Yeah, I think
Okay.
I covered that before. But yeah, if there's any more clarification needed, let me know.
I think he has the hand up still. I don't know if he is still need something else or not.
If anybody has any further queries, please do type so in the chat. Otherwise, yeah, have a great rest of the day, and thank you so much for coming. It's been great to have you here.